Hey everybody, Big Anklevich here, podcaster, author, and carnivore, and the 15th of May has passed. And it's become the tradition here to do a halfway mark report on each of these monthly challenges. So here we are, 15th of May, and I'm talking about how this month has gone. So is Marshall, in fact. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and jump out to Marshall first. Let's see what he's got to say about how his month has gone. And then I'll come back and I'll tell you about mine.
Hello there, everybody. It's the middle of May, May 15th. It's time to reckon, for the reckoning, to step on the scale. Well, not that I don't step on the scale at other times, but at least to report on what the scale is reporting to me. And progress. This time, I've lost, since May 1st, I've lost 5.8 pounds, which is definitely in the right direction, definitely a good sign. Yes, at this point, I probably should be losing more, but, you know, I'm not going to go with expectations anymore. I think I'm just going to do my best and hopefully go in the right direction. And yeah, I've definitely made some changes as far as not eating as much bad stuff. Even within the carnivore, Big seems to think it's only cheese. No, I don't know if that's what he really thinks, but he blames cheese for my lack of success. But I've lost weight eating cheese previously, so I don't know if it's all cheese. But beef, butter, bacon, and egg, other than doing just regular carnivore, I think is helping. So I don't know. I was planning on every other month going carnivore, BBBE. I might not do that for June. I think I'll stay on BBE since I really haven't been doing it the entire month of May, to be honest. You know, I started off the first week and a half or so, or definitely in the first week, mostly being carnivore. But I'm over that now. I'm going to be at BBBE for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, and then I'll probably go ahead and do that in June as well. We'll see how things progress. And boy, I don't know. I don't have a lot to report. You know, just sticking with the same strategy. I'm encouraged that I'm losing weight, not just 0.2 or 1 pound or 2 pounds or whatever, but I'm at least making significant strides in the right direction. Again, I'm hoping every time I step on the scale that, hey, I've gone down 10 pounds, I've gone down 16 pounds. But my body's older than it was a couple years ago, and things have probably changed a little bit. My metabolism and I really didn't start. Well, I guess I did. But I was going to say, I didn't make significant progress until I had been doing it for a few months, and then got into the rhythm. My body was, used to eating the way it should, and really started kicking in gear, especially that third, fourth, fifth month that I was doing it. So that's what I'm going for. Like I said, I'm encouraged that I'm going in the right direction, and anything that I can do to increase my health and reduce the stress on my body from being so overweight is good. So, all right, that's it for me this time. I'll be back today and tomorrow to report on what I'm eating, but I'll be back in about 15 days or so to let you know how things are going with the scale. All right, bye.
All right, there we go. Good job, Marshall. Way to go. Keep it up. You're doing good. And that is what I'm talking about. So how am I doing? Well, doing good, but could be better. The start of this month was really exciting, really impressive. I was really looking forward to things. I did that experiment where I decided, okay, I've been doing ground beef only for a month. But what happens if I switch and I do other stuff? Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs plus turkey. And I did that. I ate turkey, I ate bacon, all this stuff, and I expected to have this backfire in my face. I expected that the second I ate some bacon, boom, my weight would jump like 8 pounds, and I'd be like, oh crap. Well, that's what I expected, so now I'm gonna have to, strap it back on and just eat ground beef for another month. But it didn't work out that way. Instead, I just continued to lose weight. I did go up a little bit. That very start, I went up a pound or two, and then I came back down. And then I came back down some more, down some more. It was going great. And this went on for 10 days. I lost weight all the way from, I think I started the month at 217, and I went to 208.6. I lost 9 pounds in the first 10 days. And then the thing that I was afraid of struck. The thing that I was worried about, eating something that just shot my weight back through the roof. The worst part was, it wasn't the experiment anymore. I wasn't being careful with what I was eating, and I'm not even sure what it was that did it. But it was Mother's Day, and on Mother's Day, for one thing, I tried some salami. I ate a little bit of this Genoa salami that we had. Good salami, it's tasty. And I was careful to, keep it to a small amount. There have been times where I've bought this salami and just eaten the whole thing in one day, the entire package full. Instead, I looked at what was a serving, and I ate just that serving. And I thought, okay, we'll see how that goes. But later in the day, after I'd pretty much eaten all the calories I should, we had Mother's Day dinner, and this happened much later than I usually eat. I don't know if that makes any difference, but I ate much later than I usually eat. B, it was food that I didn't need to eat. I put a little small amount on my plate, but then it was so good, and I was hungry at the time, so I ate way more than I normally would have. I finished that roast off, and so I ate way more than my calories. Was that the problem? Or was it the salami? Or, turns out in the roast, my wife had used these packets of the brown gravy mix and a packet of ranch dressing mix. It was in there. And those things, I think, have dextrose and a bunch of other garbage in them. I don't even know what's in them, but it's nothing good. And so that was in there too. And the next day when I weighed myself, my weight had come up 8 pounds in a single day. And you think, okay, you came up 8 pounds in a single day. Well, it's going to come right back down. That's crazy. That can't just stick. But it did. The next day I weighed the same. And the next day I came down a very tiny bit. And then I fasted and I've come down another small amount. But yeah, it completely ruined my progress. Here's the chart. This is my progress for the month of May. And you can see, look at that freaking roller coaster downhill action that was going on early in the month. It was really good. And then, wha-bam, look at that jagged spike going right back up. That's where it hit. The sad thing is I don't know exactly what I did. I still have a little bit of turkey left, but most of the other stuff that I've been eating this month is gone. And today I bought myself a thing of ground beef, and so I'll be eating the last of the turkey over the next few days and this thing of ground beef. And maybe that'll get me back to where I was. I don't know. I don't know if I need to eat just ground beef for a while. One thing I was saying is that I wish I had been keeping track of my ketones during all of this. What were my ketones like during the experiment? What were they like before the experiment when I was just eating ground beef? Were they high? Did I do something that knocked me out of ketosis? Because from what I understand, when you get knocked out of ketosis, it will cause you to just retain water like crazy. So maybe that was it. And then once I get back on ketosis, I'll start losing that water again eventually. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the day that I got down to 208, that was just a bad reading from my scale and it was totally off and I was actually way heavier than that and it wasn't that big of a deal. Could have been. It was the end of a fast, and fasts usually are when I weigh the least. I pretty much always come up a pound or two after fasting and then steadily go back down, but that hasn't been the case for the last while. I haven't been coming up as much after fasting. So I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what it was. I feel like my experiment has been totally invalidated because of what happened right after it. So I may have to do it again. Maybe I'll just go another month just eating ground beef here and then try the experiment again. And then I'll just have salami and see what happens. And if that doesn't happen, then maybe I'll try to have my wife cook that same roast and see what happens. I don't know. Or maybe I should just leave well enough alone and just eat ground beef from here on out because I know it's going to work and it's going to get me places. I don't know. Anyways, how has my month gone? Well, at the start of the month, like I was saying, I started out weighing 217.6. And this morning, I weigh 213.6. So that means I am down 4 pounds since the start of the month. I don't know what to think of that. I mean, it's hard to be happy about it when I was weighing at 208, which had me down 9 pounds. But 4 pounds is good. Before the month started, I was saying to myself, you know what? I'm probably not going to lose that much weight each month anymore. It's going to be a struggle, I think, from here on out. I'm to the point where it's going to be tough. And I'm going to have to, really, it's going to be like taking a hammer and a chisel and chipping away at each little bit instead. It's not going to be like, having a sand blaster. I don't know what you... a jackhammer. There we go. It won't be like having a jackhammer, which you could just pound that stuff off quickly. I'm really close. I'm getting close to my goal. I mean, 213, that's only 13 pounds away from Wonderland, which I've been trying to get to since 2019. And losing like 5 pounds a month, that I was thinking that at the start of the month, if I lose like 5 pounds a month, that's pretty good. I'll be under 200 in just a few months, and 185 I think is going to be my ultimate goal. Somewhere around there is probably where I ought to end up. That's another 3 months. I could easily get there before the year is out if I'm losing 5 pounds a month. And here we are at 2 weeks and I've lost 4. So I'd only need to get 1 more pound this whole month to have that goal. So I'm not upset. I can't be upset. I'm, a little sad because I was farther along, and I kind of hope that somehow I can get back to that. Felt like I was on, the greased slide where I just couldn't stop no matter how hard I tried. I was losing that weight so fast. It's a bummer to see that go away, but, maybe it'll come back. Hopefully it'll come back. We'll see. I'm gonna eat some, I'm gonna finish off that turkey that I've got. I'm almost there. I think I got maybe a pound left. So maybe 1 more day, maybe 2, but probably just 1 more day of turkey. And then I'm gonna do some ground beef for a while. Probably some steak, maybe some roast in there too. But not roast that my wife cooks. When I cook a roast, I just put salt on it and that is it. So there's no worry about what else you're getting. But yeah, I'm going to do that for a little bit and see if I can get myself back into ketosis, if that's my problem, and get back on that grease slide. I would like that. Or, at least just get myself going again. I feel like I am going again. You can see from the chart, it went way back up, but then it started to come back down. And if I can keep coming down like that, that'll be fine. We'll see what that chart looks like by the end of the month. That'll be cool. So that's my plan. Real quick before we go, let me respond to Marshall. He was talking about how, I had something against cheese and that I think cheese is the only problem. Cheese is a problem for me, yes. And I think in general, dairy is a problem for losing weight. Dairy is, obviously milk has a bunch of carbs in it, so don't drink milk. But beyond that, dairy is fat really condensed. It's something you can eat a lot of in a short period of time. And if you're like me, you will eat a lot of it. Maybe you won't if you're not like me, and so it's not a big deal. There are people I think that can do that. But I think the thing that really matters is doing what you say you're going to do. Marshall was saying that he was going to do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And at first he was like, oh, I've still got a couple of egg bakes left in the fridge, and they have some cheese and ham in them. I'm just going to finish those off, and pretty soon I won't have to, say, oh, I ate that has a little bit of stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm doing the same thing. That's why I'm eating all this turkey. Turkey isn't beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, but I got to eat it because I got it in the freezer, and there's so much of it, and if I don't, it's just going to get thrown away. So I was down with that. But then he was just putting cheese on everything. And he knows that cheese isn't beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And generally, when somebody says they're going to do something and then they don't, and then they get away with it, and they don't again, and they get away with it, pretty soon they're not going to care anymore. They're just going to go for it. It's just kind of the way it is. If you're not living up to what you say you're going to do, seems like you're on the verge of going off the rails, which is why I got on Marshall's case and was saying, hey, bud, you said you were going to do beef, butter, and eggs. You got to stop this cheese. Every day you're doing it, and you don't seem like you care anymore about it. You seem like, who cares? And I think that makes a big difference. Even just in your mind, your mental state can really make a big difference for your weight loss. If you don't feel like you're doing what you should, you're probably not going to lose weight even if you could. Because I think our minds do have a fair amount of control over things. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not after you, Marshall, because of its cheese. Just, you said you were going to do them on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Let's do that. Let's do it. I want to see you do it. We got 2 more weeks. Let's see how well it goes. Let's see if you can pump up that number that you've got so far and just put it through the roof. I think you're doing pretty good so far. So keep it up. You did better than I did. But yeah, let's keep going. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this month. Let's see how it goes. Let's do it. Let's juice this thing up, baby. Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time on Big Anklovich on Health.